Greetings, this is Emily and I'd like to welcome you to this Uni-edit video. Should non-native speakers of English comment on the English in their peer reviews? We asked our experienced peer reviewers if non-native English speakers should comment on the quality of English in writing their peer reviews. For example, a Chinese postdoc researcher is peer reviewing an article to be published in an international journal. Should he or she comment on the quality of the English writing while conducting the peer review? It's an interesting question. Currently, a flexible approach by journals. If your paper is getting peer-reviewed, it means it passed the initial screening or review by the journal. Papers with major writing or English problems usually would be rejected before peer review. This is often called a desk rejection. Currently, most international journals allow peer reviewers to comment on all aspects of the writing, from the argument, structure, and flow to the English grammar and terminology. The results is that authors received various kinds of feedback on the writing and English usage. For junior authors new to publishing, it is difficult to know what to do with the feedback. However, experienced authors are more familiar with the language requirements of different journals and know how to interpret and use peer reviewer comments to take their paper to the next step closer to publication. Some peer reviewers will comment on English, some won't. Most journals are concerned with the clarity of presentation of ideas and data and on the quality of writing, and ask peer reviewers to comment on this. Each peer reviewer self-determines in how much detail to respond to this request. One peer reviewer might comment, "The paper is well organized," while another on the same paper might comment, "There are many grammatical errors that need fixing," and list over a page of errors found. The reason for this is that some peer reviewers don't feel knowledgeable enough in English or in writing to comment in detail, whereas some do. Also, some peer reviewers care about writing and English much more than others do. Yet another reason can be that some reviewers want to focus on the scientific or academic merit of the research and not spend time on the language aspects. Quality of writing versus quality of English. The quality of writing and the quality of English are different but overlapping terms. They are often confused. Quality of writing is a broad term that covers the quality of composition, structure, argument, conciseness, clarity, and the English terminology and mechanics, including grammar. So a well-written paper can be easily read and understood. Quality of English is a narrower term that usually refers to just the grammar, terminology, spelling, and phrasing. Two examples. Example 1. A paper could have excellent quality of English, but due to poor structure and argument formation, be very confusing for a reader. This kind of paper will need a lot of work to be fixed for publication. Example 2. A paper might be superbly assembled with facts, references, logical argument, insight, and conclusions, but could have numerous grammatical problems. This kind of paper can usually be easily fixed by a native speaker English editor. Insufficient clarity for authors. Currently, peer reviewers often put very general or mixed comments that can leave authors unsure of how to improve the writing or English. Confusing examples include, quote, "Writing needs improvement," end quote, or "Get help from a native speaker," or "The grammar have many problem." Note here that the comment itself has a grammar problem. Also, peer reviewers are only required to comment on the standard of writing in an article if it is problematic. Further, if the peer review can understand the research, they may choose to not comment on problems in the writing, even if they exist. So often the peer reviews say nothing about the writing of English usage, which could be confusing for the author too. Peer reviewers, when writing a peer review, should try to write clearly and specifically about problems with the English writing and should give examples too. Native speaker versus highly skilled writer. In general, a native speaker of English will present their research more effectively than a non-native speaker could. However, this is often not that case. An experienced author who has English as a second language and is caring about the presentation can often assemble a paper with excellent structure, logic, argument formation, and very near native English. This is very common in academia. So, when we often refer to, quote, native speaker, we should take care because an experienced non-native speaker often has more insight and skill in writing in English. That is, we should refer to, quote, skilled writers of English, end quote, rather than just, quote, native speakers of English, end quote. Recommendation for authors. If your paper has already gotten to the peer review stage, then congratulations, because that is a success. In order to get published, you need to study the comments from the peer reviewers and the journal editor carefully. Focus on making improvements to your research and addressing the concerns of the peer reviewers about your research, methodology, and the content of your paper. This is the key to getting closer to publication. If peer reviewers have commented on writing or English problems, you'll need to address those too, and often need the help of an expert native speaker of English editor. However, work on fixing the research-related and content issues of your paper first. Once again, this is Emily from Uni-edit. Thank you for watching, and feel free to check out our website. Have a great day.